Journey to the Cross, Day 40, the last day. The empty tomb stands as your guarantee of help today and gives you hope for what is to come. Life in this fallen world is hard. It can be hope-defeating and discouraging. Sometimes it looks as if the good guys are losing and the bad guys are winning. Unexpected visitors enter your door, bringing the pain of various kinds of loss with them. Things you thought you could depend on fail you, and the promises of people you thought you could trust fail you. Our lives right here, right now, are a mix of joys and sorrows. It's frustrating how complicated things can be. Grief is an all too frequent visitor, and anger often bubbles inside of us. The Bible gives 3 reasons for the hardships of life that we all experience, whether in momentary frustrations or in prolonged seasons of pain and loss. Number 1, the world. The Bible has much to say about the world we all live in, but it warns us that the place that is our present address is dramatically broken and not functioning as the Creator intended. In Romans 8, Paul says our world is groaning as it waits for redemption. You groan when you're in pain. You groan when you're frustrated. You groan when you're discouraged. Everything around us is not as it was meant to be. The world around you is like a car you need to get you from point A to point B, but has mechanical difficulties. It doesn't do well what it was created to do. So you have to face the daily frustration of wondering what will happen next. Each trip you take is marked with a bit of worry, and often your trips are interrupted by yet another mechanical failure. Such is the world we live in. Number 2, the flesh. When the Bible talks about the flesh, it's not talking about our physical bodies, but rather our fallen nature. That is, our struggle with sin. Yes, we have been forgiven. Because of what Christ has done, God views us as righteous, and sin is no longer our master. But it is vital to remember that the presence of sin within us still remains and is being progressively eradicated by sanctifying grace. Sin is in us and all around us. Marriage would be dramatically easier if every husband and wife were sin-free. The same would be true of friendship, parenting, the workplace, government, your neighborhood, the church, the world of entertainment, education, and the list could go on. Sin complicates everything in our lives. Many of our daily frustrations and disappointments are the result of the presence of sin in us and in the people around us. Number 3, the devil. The Apostle Paul ends his practical instructions in Ephesians 6 by reminding us that we live in the midst of a great spiritual war. Our struggle is not really with people, places, and things. No, what we wrestle with every day are principalities and powers, cosmic powers over this present darkness, spiritual forces in the heavenly places. There really is a great, dark, deceitful enemy who prowls around like a hungry lion, seeking to devour us. Life is hard because life is war. All the things that we do every day and all our relationships are made more difficult because they take place in the middle of a spiritual war. There is a tempter, a deceiver, who will mess with your faith, seeking to instill doubts of God's goodness, faithfulness, and love in your heart. He doesn't have the power to remove your salvation, but he is intent on messing up your journey. Because of the world, the flesh, and the devil, it is wonderful that the work of Christ on earth didn't end on the cross, but with the shocking glory of the empty tomb. The empty tomb of Jesus is your guarantee of help here and now and of help to come. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 15 that the resurrection of Christ guarantees the present reign of Christ. See verses 20 to 28. What is the king doing right now? Paul says he must reign until he has put all his enemies under his feet. 1 Corinthians 15:25. The sin that causes us so much heartache will be defeated. The enemy who sows so much turmoil in our lives will be defeated. Death, which seems to be the inescapable reality of our lives, will be defeated. The risen, conquering King will defeat these enemies, and the empty tomb is his promise. But there is more. Paul teaches us that the resurrection of Christ is a first-fruit resurrection. This is such an encouraging word picture. When that first apple appears on the tree, the first grape on the vine, or the first bean on the plant, it is a guarantee of a harvest of many more to come. The empty tomb of Jesus guarantees another resurrection. We will rise up on the last day and be transported to a new world, a world where all things have been made new. There will be no more sin, there will be no more devil, there will be no more broken world, and there will be no more death. All pain, frustration, discouragement, and suffering will forever end. And as risen and fully redeemed beings, we will live forever in peace and harmony with our risen Savior King. The empty tomb of Jesus is your guarantee that what you live with today will not always be. Every enemy that troubles your life right here, right now, will be under the victorious feet of your risen Savior Jesus. His empty tomb guarantees the completion of the work. He will not quit. He refuses to relent until that last enemy is under his feet. Then and only then will he usher in his final kingdom and invite us into a world where all things have been made new. The journey of Jesus to the cross didn't end with the cross, but with the victory of the empty tomb, and that is a very good thing.